Hello, class. As I said before in the email, I wanted to try this second video lecture to see if we can get the great discussion that we had a couple weeks back during our third class, or at least on-campus class. And so I want to try this again. So I'm hoping that you're enjoying the evening. But hopefully, after this lecture, my hope is that you can begin really critically thinking about your career choice as relate to some of the bigger picture things that I want you to think about. But as you know, we talked about three particular tools in class, right? And so in class, I talked about these five tools that I wanted to teach you. So the first one was career capital. The second was values and skills. And the last one was money, right? And this idea of needs versus wants. And so those are kind of three tools that we sort of discussed earlier in the last couple of weeks. This class is a little different. I want you to actually take you out of thinking about these tools, but actually thinking a little deeper about yourselves and your career choice, and how it relates to your personal mission and vocation. And so that's really what I want to focus on in this course: is how does your career choice connect with your personal mission and your vocation? What does vocation really mean? And all these things have a profound impact on what we want to do and how we want to get there. And I really want to take the time to focus on that as we move forward. So the first topic I want to talk about is this idea of vocation and thinking about what vocation really means. Now, when we think about vocation, the first thing that comes up is this idea around it means a particular business or an occupation or some type of profession. And really, that definition is actually not true. Vocation is, at least the way we know it, has been kind of shaped to be this idea around, well, this is what I do for a job, or this is what I do for a profession. But that's not really what vocation really means. People forget that the word vocation actually came out of the 1450s or the 1400s. And what it really means, it means your calling. It means what are you really are called to do. And a lot of students don't think about vocation when thinking about their career choices, but something brought you here to university. There was something about DePaul that said, hey, DePaul is calling me to be a student here because it connects with my values, or it connects with my identity. And so that's kind of where vocation really sets in. However, we kind of scrambled it up and made this new definition, thinking about vocation is a job, and that's not really what it is. What it really is this thinking about your calling. What am I called to do? And so I know that that may not be a question that you want to think about right now, or you may have not been asked that question or taken time to think about, but that's what I want to take the time to talk about. And when we talk about vocation, there are a couple of things to think about. Really, as it relates to your career choice, vocation answers the why question. Why am I doing this? Why am I choosing this major? Why am I pursuing this graduate school for this career? Why am I pursuing this internship to get this career? Why this career overall? And a lot of times students get stuck in this really weird moment around their junior and senior year, where they start asking themselves this question. And this is where I want you to complete that vocation identity wheel, because that's going to help you answer the question why. And it's also going to help with our next class when we talk about branding, and that's very important when it comes to actually getting the job, because when you know why you want to do a particular career and it connects with your calling, it is just so much easier for you to brand yourself when it comes times for those internships and graduate school or when it comes time for an interview for a real job. So just remember that when we talk about vocation, vocation is not about what you do, it's why you do certain things. And so in the discussion board, there are opportunities to explore that. My hope is that you complete that, and I want to get your thoughts on the discussion board. But remember, vocation answers the why. Why do you want to pursue this particular career? And that's something I want you to think about, um, not just now, but also when you make your future career choices. Personal mission. Personal mission is one of those things that has a profound effect on what we want to do for our career and really just overall in our lives. So when you think about your personal mission, it's really all the vocational questions and the values worksheet and the answers to that for yourselves, all put in this idea of personal mission. Some of you may have written your own personal mission before. You may have done the worksheet that I assigned on the D2L, but it's one of those things that never gets old because you're always changing over time. And so personal mission is very important when you actually write it down and you actually see, does your personal mission connect with the values that you just stated before in our last couple of classes and what you want to do? It's that guiding compass that helps you keep aligned with your values, and how does the career choice connect, or help your personal mission move forward. And so a lot of students don't take the time to use the personal mission, at least, or take the time to write a personal mission statement. But that's what I'm going to have you do in the class today. So when I think about a personal mission, it connects with the why question and the vocation aspect of things, and then it also dives into those extrinsic, intrinsic, and lifestyle values that we talked about earlier. It's kind of a encompass of all of those things, but it's really, like I said before, your compass. How do you want to move forward? Especially when you are moving towards a career. So a lot of you are probably looking at internships or maybe even applying for jobs already, and you may be asking yourself, is this the job that I really want to do? Does this connect with my values? And what you're really asking yourself is, does this fit with my personal mission, my overall personal mission of what I want to do while I'm at this job? And sometimes, as with values, they conflict. Personal mission that you're trying to achieve may not be connected with the career that you currently have. And so, a lot of times when people are not loving their jobs, or they're not being as successful as they want to be in their jobs, sometimes it goes back to, well, did they get off their personal mission and what they want to do, and what do they need to do to get back on track with that? So personal mission is one of those things, like I said before, that a lot of students don't think about, but it's so crucial to what we want to do. Again, we're not doing a tangible thinking that we've done in our previous classes. Career capital is pretty straightforward. Values is pretty straightforward. Even money and needs versus wants is pretty straightforward. But this is bigger. This is a deeper type of thinking. And so, if you feel that writing your personal mission is hard, good, because it's supposed to be. Um, Personal mission, like I said, always changes over time because things change over time. And so that's why it's always important to learn how to write a personal mission as you kind of transition out of DePaul University, go to your first job, and then go to your second, and then whatever else happens from there. It's very important to go back and think about your personal mission statement. And so that's why my hope is that you take some time to reflect on your vocation, your values, and how does that connect to create your personal mission. When we talk about branding in the next class, those three things are going to help you get the job that you are looking for. And that's the importance of branding. But branding really stems from this personal mission and writing these personal missions to really clearly say, this is why I want this job, or this is why I want to pursue this major, because I've already thought about this in my own personal mission statement, in my values thinking, in my career capital outreaching and discernment. And that's the whole point of personal mission statements.